I am sitting here on a very sunny afternoon in the northern Midwest recording this podcast. My Instagram app was not recently available. Something happened there with the SD card. I'm just mentioning that. But in today's podcast, I'm talking about how I select what seeds we get every year. And I'm also talking about what seeds I currently have and what seeds we are currently going to be growing in this year's vegetable garden. And I'm talking about a little bit about a new project I'm going to do. I'm going to build a herb vegetable bed, so stick around for news on that. If this is your first time listening to my official podcast, maybe you're newer to the channel, maybe you've never heard of the channel before, but this is Maple Hill Farm. You can subscribe if you enjoy this. You can enjoy this, but I would not recommend doing so. So let's start off with beans and peas because beans are one of the first letters of the alphabet. Start with one of the first letters in the alphabet, B. So we'll start it off with those. And I currently have some Ford Hook 242 Lima beans, 25 seeds. They're from Burpee.com. I'll post links to all of the websites that I mentioned. I won't post links to each individual seed variety because that would take a long time. But anyway, I got 42 Lima beans, 25 seeds. I bought the seeds last year and I never opened them up. And yeah, that was weird. My screen just shut wrong with my tablet. But anyway, I got these last year. I haven't yet. I'm gonna grow them this year. You will see that in upcoming videos. Maybe I'll talk about it in upcoming podcasts. I also have a little bit of Sugar Snap Burpee peas over last year, just plain Sugar Snap. A lot of different seed companies sell them. Snap peas on Burpee.com, order in Google, and you should find those available for sale. Where I live in the northern Midwest, you sold them from May to July. And I actually sold them last year in April and had my best results ever with peas. Before, when you sold them in May, they would come up and they would produce a small crop, and then it would get hot, and they would all die. Peas don't like the heat. They'll eventually die. So sold them early. I sold them mine in April. I'm getting ready to sow mine in about a week or two here, and just can't wait to sow those. But the garden's got to dry out first, get a little more on. But anyways, I also bought a lot more Snap Peas seeds this year. They're awesome. Check those out if you haven't already. And the beans we use every year. Can't go wrong with them. They grow really good with our really clay soil. The really bad beans actually can improve the soil, and we can them and love eating them. They're a great crop to grow. I have Bush Blue Lake 274. We buy them every year in the value pack because we plant so many of them. They're also search for them on Burpee.com. There's another one very similar, Bush Blue Lake 47. These are 274. Very similar, I believe. We get them in a value packs, like I said. Yeah, they're a bush bean, and yeah, we haven't grown pole beans in this garden yet, but we may sometime. I don't know. And just looking, got more peas here. And I will pull out one of my other envelopes. So I categorize these. I'm in my pumpkin envelope now. It has all my seed packs of pumpkins. Just pumpkins, not winter squash, because I grow a lot of each. This one is pumpkin neon hybrid, and that you can get from Old Seed. I won't put a link to their website because this is the only packet of Old Seed I have. And I didn't really like the pumpkin variety. I did get one pumpkin, but it was really small, and it wasn't so good. And I have a few different varieties of Big Moon pumpkins. Never really had luck with these. This year I planted some. They didn't actually produce any pumpkins. And those are from Burpee Seed Co. I did have some other ones from Livington Seed Co. a few years back, 2015, I believe. I grew some Big Moon pumpkins, although they were not super big, but they're of nice size. Also, I have some jack-o'-lantern pumpkins from Burpee. Will not be growing these this year because last year I grew them and I got some pretty big pumpkins, but they just weren't my favorite. They didn't stand out. They weren't unique enough. Plus, they rotted faster than some of the other pumpkins, and so that wasn't very helpful. And this seed pack right in front of here is the first M.I. Gardner seeds I've mentioned yet so far. They're Connecticut Field Pumpkin. I'm going to be growing that this year for carving and for eating for pies. And I would totally recommend checking out mmigardner.com. Link in the video description. Okay, so that's it for my pumpkin envelopes. I'll set those aside and we'll move right on along to the next one. See what I pull up. Summer squash and cucumbers envelope. And in it we have straight 8 cucumbers. They're a slicer cucumber. You can also pickle them. I found out it doesn't really matter. We just bought pickling cucumber seeds this year, although we will be using up the slicing seeds. Cucumber straight 8 from Burpee Seeds. I would totally recommend these if you're looking for a good slicer cucumber. They didn't do bad. And got some summer squash Black Beauty from Burpee. That's standby plant to grow there. I got some Peter Pan hybrid summer squash. They're like the Patty Pan squash. They're shaped like flying saucers. And 50 days to harvest, so that's not too bad for squash. I plant June to July, but we'll plant these somewhere last half of May. More Black Beauty zucchinis, and we came across some pickle bush cucumbers from Burpee Seeds. We'll be growing these for pickling and for slicing this year. Also, we won't really discriminate between the two. Pickling and slicing, they work good. More Black Beauty zucchinis. We grow a ton of those. Okay, next envelope is winter squash. So this is anything that's a winter squash that ain't a pumpkin. And I know pumpkin isn't like a scientific term. It's just basically slang people use for certain kinds of winter squash. Don't call me out on that in the comments. Anyways, winter squash, vegetable, spaghetti, another Burpee Seeds one. So spaghetti squash, I can't complain about these. They grew pretty good size ones. They were actually, some of them were bigger than the ones in the grocery store, I think. So, yeah. And have never grown these before. They're large bottle gourds from Burpee Seed. And I'm trying these out. These are the ones you can dry and make like birdhouses and stuff. It says great dry for craft projects in the back. Check those out. And then Luffa, I don't know if I pronounced it right. Maybe it's Luffa. It's spelled L-U-F-F-A. It's a gourd. Also Burpee Seeds. We buy a lot of Burpee Seeds. These are astonishingly tasty when picked young. That's what it says. And if you harvest them when they're dry, you can make bath sponges. I thought that would be cool. You dry them, make sure the shell's off, and you slice them up, make bath sponges. Thought that would be awesome. So that's it for winter squash. And I may do an extended version of this in a little while. I'm just gonna do one last envelope here. Tomatoes. See what we're growing this year. 4th of July hybrid. Talked about those in another video. I will put a link at the end of the video. Super Sweet 100 hybrid. Oh, by the way, 4th of July was Burpee, so is Super Sweet 100 hybrid. Those are cherries. This is the Super Sweet ones. We got some Roma tomato seeds left over from last year. Those are awesome. Also Burpee Seeds. Got some Brandy Boy seeds from Burpee Seeds. Big Mama, also from Burpee. And Shimmer, that's our new tomato we're trying out this year. Testing it. If we like it, we'll grow more next year. Okay, guys, thanks for listening to the podcast on YouTube. I will be putting out an extended version later on with all the seeds that I haven't put in here, but it's getting pretty long. And yeah, okay, guys, thanks for listening today. Be sure to check out some of our other videos and podcasts and like the podcast or video, whatever you want to call it, and be sure to subscribe to Maple Hill Farm. A lot of people watch my videos and podcasts but don't end up subscribing. It really helps out if you subscribe, like the video, or like the podcast. It gets it out there. Okay, guys, thanks for watching, or listening to today's podcast. It's the Maple Hill Farm official podcast. Thanks for listening.